Hello everyone, my name's Steve Simpson. Thanks for finding my channel, and I've got another Aesop's story for you today, and make of it what you will. Once upon a time there was a village, and one of the houses in the village had become overrun by mice. There was nobody living nobody living there, and the mice had truly taken over. And a nearby cat heard about this story, and she had been kicked out of her house and was lonely and hungry and knew that her babies were soon going to be born. So she thought, I'm going to move into that empty house and I will have plenty of mice to eat. And that is what she did. And her plan worked very well for the first few days, and every single day she would catch at least one mouse and eat it. Sorry if you're having your breakfast, but that's what cats do. And sooner or later the mice became increasingly alarmed, and they called a meeting and said, we are going to stay safe in our mouse holes, because sooner or later we know the behavior of cats. The cat will lose interest and go somewhere else so that we can carry on with our life. And this is what they did. And after the first day, the cat started to get a little bit worried. Where have the mice gone, she thought. And after a few days, the cat was getting not only concerned, but worried and very, very hungry, and knew that she had to do something. She had to take the initiative. So she paced around and thought a little bit, and by one of the mouse holes she saw a peg sticking out a little bit above the hole. And she thought, I know I can hang from there by my hind legs, and I will pretend to be dead. And sooner or later the mice will come out of the hole, and they'll look up and they'll see this dead cat there, and they'll think, aha, the tables have turned. Now we can eat bits and pieces of this dead cat. Well, unfortunately for the cat, the plan did not work as well as she had hoped, because yes, a mouse did come out of the little hole and put his head up and saw this supposedly dead cat hanging there, and the mouse laughed and said, "Oh cat, you think you are so cunning, but we will never forget an object or an animal that has caused us danger in the past. So this is not going to work with us. We're going to keep well away from you." And that is what they did. So the cunning plan of the cat amounted to nothing. So what is the point of this story? Well, like all of Aesop's stories, they're very open to interpretation. And of course the stories get twisted and changed, just as I've embellished this story a little bit and made it a bit more relevant to my view of the world. So your view of this is going to be very different. But just to start the discussion, what do I think about it? Well, I suppose it's an illustration of another expression that's common in our language, that a leopard will never change its spots. In other words, a cat is a cat, just as a mouse is a mouse. And a cat is inherited with the instincts of a predator, of a carnivore, to eat, to track down and kill and eat other smaller animals, just as the wild cats in nature do. And when I was a kid, we always had at least one cat in our house, and of course these cats were very well fed, domestic cats, and nevertheless we would see the cat stalking prey. And now if you look around, you will see that in any garden where there's a cat, you'll see them at some point going through the hedgerow stalking with their eyes fixed on something. And that is because they have this inherited instinctive behavior. Perhaps it's what Carl Jung would have called an archetype, and which is the characteristic behavior of a species. So this leads us down an uncomfortable road of predetermination, not for the first time. So if we believe that a leopard can't change its spots, then neither can we. So if we take this to extrapolate it, it means there is no free will, there is no hope for redemption, there's no hope of growing a smarter, wiser and nicer person. And that's going to be very sad. So what are we here for? Well, I find that a depressing thought, as indeed I'm sure most people do, and yet many people throughout history, very smart people, way smarter and wiser than me, at least, have believed these thoughts. So all I can do is say, well, we have to find some hope. I mean, there's no point me being a mind coach if what is going to be, both in me and in the people that I coach. So I've had to search for hope, and I've made previous videos about telomeres and epigenetics and DNA and chromosome and inheritance, and how indeed our genes can be changed subtly over time by our own actions as well as by the actions of nature. Whether this really is hope or not, I will leave for you to decide. But anyway, that's my thoughts for today, and I'll be very interested to know what your take on this enduring, everlasting story is. So, more coming soon, but thanks for watching this one. Goodbye.